Over the last couple of years, the city of Portland has been experiencing a lot of growth. Last week, Mayor Kathy Skuro gave her State of the City address discussing past and future improvements for the city. Our James Ayala has those highlights.
Portland City Council has approved a 5-year capital improvement plan, making sure the city is keeping up with the rapid growth they are experiencing. The Public Works facility is currently in phase 1 of its 2-phase project.
And that includes an animal services center, which will have a really great area for animal adoptions. And it also will include a citizen drop-off area for bulky trash items, which is a great new amenity for our citizens.
Portland currently has 2 fire stations, but only 1 is fully operational. To keep up with the growing areas, the city is looking towards the west side of town to build a new fire station, better serving those growing areas.
It affects not only our citizens, but our overall response ratings, which can impact insurance levels. And it's an overall planning effort to make sure we're being responsible for future growth.
Indian Point Pier has been a popular spot for fishing. The design phase has been completed by Ritger Architect, and they have already started the construction phase.
We want to maintain that great pier for fishing, but also have a landmark that's visible from the highway, that celebrates nature, that invites our citizens to come out and enjoy the shoreline.
Portland residents have requested a boat launching area to access the Corpus Christi Bay. The new boat ramp at Chris Andrews Boating Center will give direct access to the bay for local boaters and kayakers.
We want to make sure that we're planning not just for the next year or two, but for the next decade or two.
James Ayala, 3 News.